Yo, folks, this is your host, Mr.A, and you are watching Double RT Boxing. Ready, 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 talk that boxing. This is the fight post recap of Sullivan Barrera defeating Felix Valera by a majority decision. I was close in my breakdown prediction until I went with my. Oh, because I flipped it. At first, I thought it was gonna be a knockout. Then I was like, nah, Valeria is a tricky fighter. It's gonna be a split decision for Barrera. But you know me on Double RT Boxing, Mr.A. I like to think outside the box sometimes. Sometimes I think boxers will be better than themselves. I give them a little too much credit. But hey, I went back with the knockout. It ended up being what I thought it was going to be a decision, a majority decision. It was like a 94 draw. And I think two judges had like 96, 93, 95, 93, something like that. Now, this was a good fight. First of all, I know don't want to be too stereotypical, but they always say the Cubans, the age is kind of like who knows. Now, I know he's not Cuban; he's the Dominican Republic, but Valeria does not look 29. He doesn't look 29, and his stamina problems does not look that of a 29-year-old. Because I watched all his fights and he gasses out just like he does. Now, the fight itself went stylistically kind of how I thought it was going to be. In the keys to victory, because I figured Barrera was the favorite in this fight. So my keys to victory for Valera was to be a back foot fighter, fight on the outside, keeping Barrera out there at the end of his punches. And for the first, I'd say 4 or 5 rounds, he had Barrera kind of, not crisp. That movement, the herkish jerkish angles, the wild punching, they were scoring for Valeria. Now the first round they each scored a knockdown. But Barrera's came at the very end of the round, which was a little questionable. It grazed him as he was falling. So yeah, his gloves hit the canvas. There's a little balance issue too, because Valeria's legs are wide, his stances are. You could hit him in the middle of some stance switches, and he's off balance. And I believe that's what happened at the end of round one. Now in the middle of round one, where he left hook Barrera, that was clean on the face, and he fell. Now after that, after round one, like that, round two was not much going on. Felix controlled the pace with his movement, but like the first 2 rounds I gave to Felix. I gave Felix round 1, 2, and that was it. Because I thought the first round, like I said, I gave him more credit for work, and then plus that knockdown to me was a little more oomph, a little more fight effective. The round 2, not much action was going on, a lot of probing shots, but just Felix movement controlled the action, plus his points were scoring. And then in round 3, Felix got his first of 3 points deducted for low blows. So it became a 10-8 round just for that. Felix was doing the same thing, just back foot, trying to pick his shots while Barrera was just coming on strong, but he barely won that round. He barely won it. He had enough punches. That was a turning point to me for Barrera in round 3. In round 4, he just started working Valeria's body. uh, realizing Valeria was not gonna exchange with him unless Barrera was against the ropes. Round five came on. The shot started getting a little cleaner for Barrera. He started getting a little more clear. He was getting closer and closer as the fight went on. And then round six again, another point gets deducted. So that again becomes a 10-8 round. And Barrera started to get a little more aggressive. And like the last 20, 30 seconds of the fight, he did a nice double left hook to the body. And that, yeah, and like I said, you could slowly see Felix starting to wear down between just all the probing jabs and Barrera putting on the pressure and then starting to work the body. Round seven, Felix looked fatigued. By that time, he looked like he was done. Uh, you could see his face. He was taking deeper breaths. He was looking like a little frustrated, but he was trying to show a lot of machismo, doing all this stuff to Barrera. And usually, to me, like I said, I tend to look into I try I try to judge the psyche of fighters during the fight. And when Felix looked like all that movement he was doing, the showboat and then the let's fight and all that, to me mentally he knew he was going down, so he was trying to coax Barrera to fight faster, make a mistake so he could capitalize on one of those looping shots. But Barrera didn't fall for it. He just stayed his very calm, patient self and kept the ball going in. Up until round nine, round eight, another point for Valeria for another low blow. But 25 seconds came in the round. A good uppercut for Barrera. It wasn't much. It was just a lot of probing in this fight with jabs, good hooks back and forth. And then in round nine, Barrera got a point deducted for his low blow on Valeria. Barrera got a low point deducted for his low blow on Valeria. So even though he got 3 free points, it went down to 2 free points. And then round 10 was just a nice survival round for Felix. He skated, he used the ring. Felix has good ring movement, good boxing ability. It just his stamina. I don't know what he does in the off season. Between fights, because he came in looking good shape. They made weight pretty good, but it was a clear. Like I said, after round 5, it was a clear victory for Barrera. He was able to just control the whole fight. What? So this put Barrera as the number 1 contender for Dimitri Bivol, and they said they were already in talks with making that fight. Now, if that is true, this goes into what I was talking about in a question for thee. Who, if anybody, in the new threat for the light heavyweight was going to lose first? Bivol, Betterbeev, Gazdov, not Gazdov, Gravechdik, I can't pronounce it, Gvozdik, Alexander Gvozdik, or Anthony Yard. Now, considering we know Bivol has a fight in 2018 against Barrera, that was my pick. I picked Bivol was going to be the first one to lose in 2018. What do you guys think? Can you guys answer that question now? Who will lose out of those 4 in 2018, if anybody? This is Mr. A saying thank you for your support. And the fight recap is Sullivan Barrera gets a majority decision over Felix Valeria, becomes the number 1 contender for newly crowned WBA light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your time. On to the next one. The show goes on, folks. The show goes on.